My name is Amelie. This is my contribution to peace, and this is my story. My man has obliterated some of the painful memories of the abuse. A way to protect myself, I guess. To keep some sort of a sense of humanity. If I can't remember it, after all, maybe it did not happen. But in order to walk my way from victim to survivor, I had to hurt all over again. I had to remember most of what I could remember. It was real. It had happened to me, and I had to claim it. I had to speak up in order to heal. I had to tell people that I had lied. That the black eye I had on, that day I came to work, wasn't from a fall or from someone slamming the door in my face by accident. No. I was punched in the face the night before. I had to tell people that if I always looked tired, it was because I wasn't sleeping at night. I was living in fear, and I would wake up many times at night as the smallest noise would startle me. I used to be stuck in a pattern of violence for a very long time. When I decided to leave and never come back, I was sure I would die. But then I realized that I would die anyway. The strength and the length of each attack had reached an epitome where, one unfortunate night, there would be this one strangulation motion held for too long that would take the life out of me, and no slaps would be able to bring me back. After I left, it took me about a year to be able to function as a regular human being again. It took me a year to be able to go around town without running. I had become agoraphobic, and I would feel in danger outside, in the real world, anywhere I would go. Even during the day, I would see shadows everywhere. I always thought it was cliché, but time does heal. It heals even the deepest wounds. My wounds were very deep, but I patched them up, and I realized slowly that I was there standing, anchored in the world. The essence of me, of who I was still alive. I was still the same wild, passionate, eager to live and learn person. The little successes and accomplishments of getting my life back together build up my confidence. It was going against everything I always believed in. After all, I was a firm believer in feminism, liberty of expression, and human rights. A strong-willed and strong-minded young woman. Studying law and understanding the levels of power in society, as well as understanding the rule of law, was the path I decided to take. A society which is governed without law leaves ordinary people, ordinary young women, just like myself, at the mercy of the arbitrary abuse of power by those who are simply powerful. I have been at the center of the arbitrary abuse of one very powerful person for a very long time, but I could turn things around. I could make a difference for myself and for others. Studying reinforced this foundation of myself that was being built back up little by little. I started remembering who I was, and even though I could never be my old self entirely ever again, I could patch the deep wounds with something new, something that would make me complete. I remembered my dreams of working with Doctors Without Borders in Africa, or being part of an international organization and going to a displacement zone to help the refugees. I couldn't do any of that now that I had my daughter, but I could still leave my mark and participate in changing the world. I started interning for Nonviolence International New York, a non-governmental organization advocating for nonviolent solutions through civil society at the United Nations. Undoubtedly and unequivocally, learning the true definition of terms like culture of peace or nonviolent communication, nonetheless, counter-interacted with all the violence I had suffered from all those years, but it brought me closure. My foundation now relies theoretically on the law, while it relied practically on my involvement with Nonviolence International. During this year, my path was obstructed. I had walked those 12 months under a tunnel. I was surely getting away from the darkness, the terror, and the furor. My studies and my internship allowed me to see the light again. I have found myself again, and I have goals. I know now that I want to advocate for women's rights and gender equality. I know that a few years from now, when I will be an international human rights lawyer, I will be able to advocate for human rights all over the world. I will be able to advocate for a particular political prisoner, or advocate for that woman condemned to death simply because she has spoken up and made her voice heard. I will be able to join my voice to hers, and together we will be louder. Louder than the patriarchy, louder than the repression of her freedom of expression, and louder than the repression of her basic human rights. As of now, I have organized one event called the Art of Survival. The next Art of Survival event will take place on December 11th, where we will relay the voices of survivors, the voices of people that have survived gender-based violence. My name is Amelie. This is my contribution to peace, and this is my story. There is hope, and all of us have the strength within ourselves to make a difference on a personal level, and to make a difference on a global level. I would not be there if it wasn't for my daughter. My evolution came from within me, but thanks to her. And as my favorite author, Jack Kerouac, once said, the road must eventually lead to the whole world.